Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Back again, and here to do the next chapter of Rainbow Dash and Applejack Go to White Castle. And there's actually, I did part of this reading earlier and messed up so much that I just deleted it. But looking through it, it's kind of long, and there's at least 2 songs, and I only kind of know one of them. The other one I have no idea how it goes, so one of them at the beginning I'm going to try to do correctly, and then the next one I'm just going to kind of talk through it in a semi-rhythmatic way. So I'll do what I can, but without a drum beat I'm actually really bad at tempo, so, don't get mad at me if I screw it up. Without further ado, we have Chapter 2 of Rainbow Dash and Applejack Go to White Castle. The name of this chapter is Hoofing It. Rainbow Dash, as she walked by Applejack's side, gave the other mare a sidelong glower, as she smiled happily and bobbed her head to the stoner rap song that emanated from the transistor radio in her saddlebag. Do my shit undercover, now it's time for the blabber, to watch that belly get fatter. Fat colt on a diet, don't try it. I'll jack your ass like a looter in a riot. My shit's fat, like a sumo, slapping that ass, leaving your face in the grass. 'Cause I don't take a duru lightly. Punks just jealous 'cause they can't outright me. Or kick that style, wicked, wild. Happy face nigga, never seen me smile. Rip that mainframe, I'll explain. A nigga like me is going insane. Insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain. Insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain. Insane in the membrane. Crazy insane, got no brain. Insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain. Ah, Rainbow Dash finally huffed. Not even sea salt could make her enjoy rap. What does a country mare like you even find in rap, anyway? Applejack returned a glower to Dash, as the 2 of them made their way through Ponyville, just having left Sweet Apple Acres a few minutes ago. Who says a country mare can't have an appreciation for hip-hop? Why don't a city slicker like you start a bopping when I play? Rainbow Dash muttered something inaudible in reply, so Applejack just rolled her eyes and went back to enjoying her music while Dash did her best to ignore it. As they headed down the street that would take them to the main road to Canterlot, another pony up in her window spotted them. "Hey, Applejack, Rainbow Dash," the voice of Twilight Sparkle called down to them. The 2 mares looked upwards to see the lavender unicorn waving down to them from her window. "Well, howdy, Twilight," Applejack called back, stopping with Rainbow, though Rainbow looked to be growing impatient and wanting to get a move on. It was bad enough she already had to walk with a non-flying Applejack, but with rap music getting on her ears too. Twilight's horn glowed suddenly, and just as quickly as the light enveloped her body, in another instant she disappeared in a burst of colorful energy, only to reappear in the same burst of light before Applejack and Rainbow. "What are you 2 girls doing around here?" she asked with an innocent smile, though it dropped a little bit when she glanced in the direction of where they were heading, the main road out of town. "Are you headed to a different town?" In a lapse of sea salt-induced judgment, Applejack spilled out, "Oh, me and Rainbow are just headed for Canterlot to grab some of that fine old White Castle chow." Twilight stared at them for a moment, startled. "You are?" she asked. "Sure as rain," Applejack confirmed cheerfully. I did that last time, too. "Don't you mean right as rain?" Dash asked pointedly, causing Applejack to shoot her a frown. "No, I meant sure as rain," she said back. "That's not what I meant," Rainbow grunted. Applejack grew more irritated. Well, that is what I meant," she snapped. Meanwhile, Twilight looked back and forth between each pony, completely flummoxed as to what was making them behave like this. Something seemed off about them tonight. Girls," she said lowly, not sure if she really wanted to intervene. "What?" both of them demanded simultaneously. Ugh. She forced a grin under their piercing gazes. Canterlot, huh? You do realize that's like a 2-hour walk, right? And that the train left only 5 minutes ago. Rainbow and Applejack glanced at each other, then looked back and said, "So?" Twilight blinked, frowning deeper. "Why does it have to be White Castle?" "Psst! It's not our fault that there's no White Castle in Ponyville," Rainbow hollered indignantly, flapping her wings and rising a few feet in the air, where she promptly folded her forelegs over her chest and pouted. "White Castle ain't a chain restaurant," Applejack retorted. "Well, they should make it a chain." "Nuts to that, Rainbow Dash. There ain't many mom-and-pop functions around these days. I say keep 'em while you got 'em." "You know what?" Twilight said with a nervous smile as she backed away from the arguing ponies. "I think I'll head in now and let you two be on your way. I've got some studies on alchemy that need studying." Just as Twilight's rump bumped into the front door, it was suddenly thrown open, mashing Twilight into the wall beside it as the mass of wood shoved her around. In the doorway stood an excited Spike. "Did I hear you guys were going to White Castle?" he chirped and promptly ran up to Applejack and knelt at her hooves. "Oh, please, 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 take me with you. Take me with you. Twilight's studying some boring alchemy book and not even using any magic tonight. I've got nothing to do, even as her #1 assistant." Applejack looked surprised at the sudden begging, and she raised a hoof and looked around as if for an answer. "Well, I'm not sure, Spike. You'd have to ask Twilight if it's okay to come. I guess I don't mind myself if you come or not." She looked to Rainbow, and she shrugged indifferently, just wanting to get a move on already. Spike turned his head towards Twilight's direction and plastered on the biggest pleading grin he could muster. The doorway that he had thrown open finally closed itself, and Twilight peeled from the wall like a worn sticker. She flopped onto the ground and shook her head dizzily. Well, sure, I guess. There's not much for you to do tonight after all," she answered with a slight slur, her head still in shambles from the impact. "All right!" Spike exclaimed with glee, pumping a fist. He paused in his little celebration to give another pleading look to Applejack. "Say, AJ, being a baby dragon and all, I don't think I can walk all the way there." Applejack smiled and chuckled, of all things. All right, little feller. Y'all can hop on this time," said she, turning to let Spike jump onto her back. He did so with gratitude, then bobbed his head to the music coming from Applejack's radio. "Aw, yeah, this is my jam," he crowed. At this point, Twilight had finally picked herself up. Rainbow Dash had been watching the unicorn and finally snickered. "I guess you could have used a little pinky sense for that, huh?" Twilight shook her head for a second time and shot Rainbow a stony stare when she had cleared her mind. "Very funny," she countered sarcastically. "Now, if you excuse me, I have somewhere to be as well, on a couch with a book." With that, Twilight turned her tail to them and walked back into her tree home. Rainbow and Applejack exchanged confused glances before deciding to move on. "I wonder what's got her tail in a twist," Applejack murmured. Back inside the treehouse, Twilight indeed took a load off on a couch by the now unlit fireplace and sprawled out on it, resting her chin on her folded forelegs and sticking her hinds out behind herself, full spread. As she looked down at the open book lying face open a few inches from her front, she wondered aloud, "Rainbow and Applejack didn't seem to be their usual selves tonight. Or they were their normal selves, but were somehow different. I wonder if I should have let Spike go with them." Worry panged in her stomach, and she pondered this for a little while, not even remembering the book in front of her. After a few moments, though, she shook off her worry and smiled slightly as she paid her book mind again. "Oh, you have nothing to worry so much about. You don't have to worry so much, Twilight. Spike couldn't be in better hooves." Out on the main road to Canterlot, which also happens to pass through other small towns that dotted the countryside in the heartland of Equestria, 2 ponies and a dragon were currently on their way to a good meal, singing with each other along to a rock song that they had all agreed upon. Applejack didn't mind too much to deter from her previous choice of music. Bopping their heads to the drum beats, AJ, Dash, and Spike belted out the chorus. Keep in touch with Mama Kin, tell her where you've gone and been, living out your fantasies, sleeping late and smoking tea. Keep in touch with Mama Kin, tell her where you've gone and been, living out your fantasies, sleeping late and smoking tea. I feel like I might have heard that song somewhere, but I don't know how it goes. Spike, still on AJ's back, made said mare start laughing as he air saxophoned the short sax solo of the song. They kept singing the half dancing as they walked down the road, oblivious to any pony or anything else that they might bump into. It was only the sight of lights in the distance in the road that made them stop singing. "Which town is that?" Spike asked as he raised his head over Applejack's Stetson to get a look at it. "That up there is Spurfield. Not a bad place, but it ain't no Ponyville," Applejack told him. "So what makes you guys want to go to White Castle anyway?" the purple dragon wondered. "It'll be like past midnight by the time we get back to Ponyville." You wouldn't understand. It's just a urge we have," Rainbow stated. "Oh, yeah? Try me," he challenged, giving the Rainbow Pegasus a look while folding his arms over his chest. "Twilight has all kinds of weird urges that I've managed to understand. Almost. At least most of them." It's a mare thing," Rainbow Dash lied, forcing a grin. She had the creeping feeling that it was in her vain and unconvincing... She had a creeping feeling that it was in vain by the unconvinced and unimpressed look on Spike that Spike was returning her. "It's a mare thing," he repeated. "True meaning, a mare's way of trying to avoid a proper explanation that is as real as my tail." Rainbow fixed him an icy stare, but Applejack laughed instead. "Y'all got some competition in smart aleckiness, Rainbow Dash. I'd watch out if I were you." "So wait, are you siding with me or something?" Spike instead asked the country pony. "Heck no. Mayor's got to come up with excuses to keep secrets." You do realize the irony in that reply, don't you?" Spike asked dryly. It was Rainbow's turn to snicker at the look of dumbfounded realization on Applejack's face. It quickly turned into a scowl as she said back, "Y'all want to be bucked Iron Pony style again, Spike?" Rainbow looked expectantly at Spike for his response, and she smirked at his alarmed face. Let's drop the subject," said he. "Thought so," Applejack said smugly. "So anyways, what's Spurfield like? I've never been." Spike changed the subject. Oh, not a bad place. Little too developed for my taste, but I ain't one to judge their choice of town making," Applejack commented, looking forward again at the growing lights in the distance. Spike saw that the town, while not huge, was big enough to gather up a considerable amount of light pollution. When the sun went completely down, probably only the brightest of stars could still penetrate the pony-made light residue. "It's pretty cool," Rainbow said next. "It's got a great movie theater, and their weather crew is really tight. I've worked with them a couple of times. They know their stuff, I'll give them that." Spike said instead, seeming to have ignored their answers, "You know, my growing suspicion has been confirmed." Rainbow looked at him, cocking an eyebrow and saying, "What are you... Oh, snap!" Applejack whipped her head back and forth to try and see the dragon on her back, but only to end up giving herself whiplash. Spike grinned as he looked at the near-empty bag of sea salt that Applejack had purchased, apparently left it in her saddlebags, which he had sneakily rummaged through while they were talking. "I noticed you guys were acting funny," he explained smugly, hopping off of Applejack and pacing before the 2 mares, whom looked at him agape. So I expected as such. Spike, said Applejack as she rubbed her neck with a hoof, are you sure you're a baby dragon? Y'all can figure us out better than we can figure out ourselves. Well, dragons do mature pretty quickly, he replied, all full of himself now, brushing back his spine with his hand in a show-offy manner. And unlike other dragons, I've got quite the experience in dealing with ponies. Do I really act like this sometimes? Rainbow scowled, folding her arms over her chest again indignantly. Y'all have no idea, Applejack returned. Rainbow growled. That was rhetorical. Psh, and no pony in Equestria can compete with your big-headedness anyway, Spike scoffed at Rainbow Dash. You're damn right no one can compete. Hey, wait! Rainbow shouted, eliciting laughter from Applejack. Anyway, all right, Spike, you got us, she said to the dragon, still chuckling a bit. Don't mention it to anyone, not even Twi. If she finds out about what me and Dash do, and that you of all dragons discovered it, oh, come on, it's not like you're addicted or anything, Spike said dismissively. Oh shit. I know, Sugar Cube, but Twilight's Twilight, and y'all are more than just her #1 assistant. She'd flip anyway, so keep it tight-lipped. You got it, AJ, Spike swore, standing at attention and saluting. Here. Well, hop on again and let's get a moving, AJ offered, lowering herself down slightly so Spike could hop onto her back again. And put that bag back while you're at it. Wouldn't want to get into a heap of trouble for that little bit that's left. Spike did as asked, and they moved on to the town. It's like a city, but it's so flat, Spike commented, scratching his head as he studied their surroundings. Unlike the hay-thatched buildings of Ponyville, Spurfield's downtown area comprised of brick buildings all 5 stories high. Heh, Rainbow chuckled. This is the midpoint between a small town and a city. Main Street in Spurfield was wide and cobblestoned, with ornate street lamps adorning the sidewalks, glowing in a moonlight silver inside the glass lamps. Lots of unicorns live up in these parts, Applejack explained, so the lights are magical. And the ponies are a little pampered, she said lowly, making Rainbow snicker. Yeah, Rarity's grandparents were from here, Dash added. I wonder, she began, but was interrupted by a frightened shout, and then was knocked out of the air by another flying body. She gave a yelp as she crashed into the ground with the object that had collided with her. Applejack and Spike watched wide-eyed as the dust cleared to reveal Rainbow Dash entangled with a stallion. I'm okay, the stallion called up into the air dizzily. Not in a minute, Dash snarled as she jumped to her spread hooves, glaring at the stallion as she blew a steamy snort off from her nostrils. That don't make sense, he replied confusedly, looking at her as he stood back up. Y'all are in for a whooping if you keep smart-mouthing, Applejack tried to say, but she was interrupted by Rainbow's sudden gasp of astonishment. Soren? She exclaimed, dumbfounded, as she was indeed staring at the Wonderbolt. The reason she hadn't recognized him as a Wonderbolt right off was his lack of a flight suit. The one and only, he said back, grinning suavely at the ecstatic mare. Oh, here we go, Applejack muttered, face-hoofing. Soren, you dope, did you break anything? A voice called for... Oh, wrong person. Soren, you dope, did you break anything? A voice called from above. The group of them looked up to see several other ponies looking over the edge of one of the mansard-roofed buildings. Among them was the instantly recognizable, with or without Wonderbolt uniform, Spitfire. You sure that guy's a Wonderbolt? Another mare teased from above, receiving laughter from the surrounding ponies. Screw you, Fleetfoot, Soren shouted back angrily. But that seemed to be the only comeback he could think of. Hey, is that you, Rainbow Dash? Spitfire yelled down, rubbing her eyes before looking at the Ponyville Pegasus again. You bet your flank... crap, I forget how to do it. You bet your flank it is, she replied, flying up to their level. Uh-oh, both Spike and Applejack murmured, staring up. Dash, we totally missed you at the gala last year. Maybe you can actually hang with us for real now that you're here. This is a private party, Spitfire offered. Seriously? You're going to invite me to a private party? She squealed, grinning like a loon. Soren followed her up. Well, technically, Arrow would have to invite you, since he threw this party, but I don't think he'll care if we let you join in, Spitfire replied. This is so awesome, thank you so much! Rainbow geeked out loud as she landed on the roof with the other ponies. She saw the roof of the building was like She saw that the roof of the building was like a floor in its own. A tiki bar sat in the middle along with a hot tub, long tables of different foods, and surprisingly, Vinyl Scratch was acting as the DJ for the party. Huh, I didn't even realize she was out of town, Rainbow commented when she saw DJ Pony with her sound system. Over the music, she couldn't hear Applejack yelling up at her from the street. Jeez. Damn that mare, Applejack yelled, stamping a hoof while Spike sighed. Guess we're gonna have to go up and get her, he muttered. I reckon you're right. I don't care if we crash the darn party. She shouldn't have ditched us. AJ agreed as she made her way into the building. You do realize it's going to be impossible to tear her apart from the Wonderbolts, Spike pointed out. I know. That ain't going to stop me from bucking her brains all over the floor. Spike sniggered at that, and Applejack allowed herself a smirk. They climbed the flights of stairs and followed the corridors until they reached a door that would take them to the roof. The only problem was that a very large and mean-looking stallion was standing by the door, grim-faced and emotionless, even in this empty, uneventful hallway. Boy, I sure don't like the looks of this feller, Applejack murmured as she and Spike looked at him while peeking around the corner of the wall. Just act all tough like you usually do, Spike suggested. I am. But I don't think it'll take a little scare of this guy, off, or beat him up for that matter. Why, he's bigger than Big Macintosh. You're not giving up, are you? Spike asked incredulously. Applejack looked back down at him like he had called her a name. I never said that, now did I? I was about to say, keep up your usual self, but I'm going to hide behind you. She gave him a dry look. Yeah, Spike, that's real helpful. He returned her the same look as she had given him a moment ago. Just go up there, keep me out of sight. Trust me. Applejack gave him a careful look for a short moment, then smiled. All right, I hope whatever trick you got up your scaly sleeve is one hell of a doozy. Spike gave her back an amused look. If I can take care of Twilight, then I can take care of this guy. He half-joked, jerking his thumb at the stallion. Applejack laughed quietly, then moved in. Spike keeping out of sight right behind her hindquarters. As AJ came up to the stallion, he looked down at her with a flat expression. You on the guest list? He demanded before she could answer. Something terrifying leapt onto her back, screeching monstrously and blowing emerald flames of pain and woe. The stallion screamed like a little filly and bolted, leaving AJ's mane and tail to be whipped in the wind as he kicked up in his escape. She twisted around twisted around to face a smug Spike. What in tarnation? She exclaimed, her eyes saucers and her irises constricted. Oh, damn it. Stupid phone. My bad, guys. There. Okay. I guess that's what I get for still having a landline. Alright. You guys may have stopped me from stopped my growth for a time, but I'm still a dragon, and I am gonna grow at some point, just without the hoarding. He chuckled, walking by Applejack as she... Okay, so I thought this was an older story than that. Okay. He chuckled, walking by Applejack as she continued to stare at him, even after he opened the door and stepped into the party. Darn, I should have brought my hat. This party's oh, damn it. Darn, I should have brought my hat. This party's pimpin'. Spike proclaimed. Rainbow stepped up to Vinyl's sound system, and while the unicorn put on a rock and roll record that had been requested a moment before. Hey, Vinyl, I didn't know you were hanging around Spurfield, she called over the music. The unicorn glanced in her direction and grinned. I could say the same, Rainbow Dash, she returned. Did the Wonderbolts invite you up here or something? They sure as hell did, obviously, since I'm awesome enough. Didn't think you're the only hotshot here. I'm obviously awesome enough for them to request I do the DJing up in this bitch. Hell yeah! And they bro-hoofed, and it was glorious. A glorious bro-hoof between the very fast Rainbow Dash and the awesome DJ Vinyl Scratch. I could totally just imagine the world exploding around the intensity of such a bro-hoof. But the glory was cut off as a pair of orange hind hooves met Rainbow Dash's cheek and threw her into the kegerator. Fuck, I don't know how to say that. Kegerator, which promptly spewed in its context when wrecked up by the impact of the thunderstruck mare. Oh snap! Vinyl cried, her eyes bulging, though unseen behind her sunglasses. She next beheld a scowling Applejack as the country mare watched the Rainbow Pegasus pick herself up from the wreckage of the kegerator. Kegerator. Duh. Okay. The wreckage of the kegerator. Spilled beer all over her body. What the hell? She screamed. The whole party had stopped to look, even as the music went on. Remember me? Applejack sneered. Oh snap is right, Spike murmured as he watched in awe with the line of ponies that had gathered around the two mares. Why did you do that? Dash bellowed. Why don't you use your brain? If it isn't already damaged enough and not from my buck, Celestia knows it needs more oxygen than you allow it. What with your constant mouth running? Dash fumed, struggling to keep up with something in return. Whoa, hold on a sec. Oh, shoot. Whoa, hold on a sec, Spitfire yelled, stepping in between the two. Come on, no fighting, or I'm kicking both of you out. I don't want to stay. I was supposed to be traveling with a friend, and here I thought she was loyal. What? Don't... Come on, Applejack, Dash yelled, actually seeming stung by that statement. No, I want you to come on. To where we're supposed to go in the first place. Okay, rule number 1 of a party. No drama, Spitfire interjected again, and I know how to enforce the rule. The smile that came on her muzzle was sly. Oh yeah? Applejack asked skeptically. Sea salt water hookah? Spitfire offered, her smile growing. Hell yeah! Both Applejack and Rainbow Dash shouted gleefully together, completely forgetting their little spat. "Follow me, ladies," Spitfire told them, leading Applejack and Rainbow to the door that would take them inside again. Spike tried weakly, but they had already disappeared behind the slammed door. Damn it. Spike sat at the tiki bar with a wary look on his features, propping his head up on the surface of the bar with his palm. "Give me another sarsaparilla," he grunted at the barkeeper. He gave the dragon a concerned look. "You sure, little man?" Does this look unsure to you?" Spike grumbled back at him, pointing at his own haggard face. The barkeep silently complied and poured Spike another pint of the beverage. "And I can't believe I still miss my hat. Even though we should still be on our way to White Castle." He grunted, sipping his drink. Yeah. He perked up when a hat suddenly dropped atop his head. He grabbed it and flipped it in his hands. Behold the beige hat with the feather in it. "No way! Who?" He turned his head, only to be facing a big, pink, toothy grin. Who? Oh, okay. "Hiya, Spike!" The grin greeted him. "Whoa!" Spike yelled, nearly falling off his stool. He finally recognized the grin as he reared back from the pony. "Pinkie Pie, what are you doing here?" he asked breathlessly. She grinned wider. "Why don't I just give you a flashback?" Flash what? "Flashback!" Written in pink. Okay. I guess this is a flashback. "It was a dark and stormy night. Well, last night it was. But most stories start off with that, don't they? Unless it's Once Upon a Time, or the men in black fled across the desert, and the gunslinger followed. Wait, that's only for one story. Anyway, okay, I guess I'll do this in a Pinkie Pie voice. Anyway, earlier Pinkie Pie was happily playing with pumpkin cake and pound cake, with all sorts of fun games and silly faces and silly words. Kumquat! And silly songs, and suddenly a buck was given. Well, it was her pinky sense. Someone was about to get hit with a door, and it was twilight. So Pinkie had to leave the babies with Mr. and Mrs. Cake to go investigate. So Pinkie got to Twilight's and found her reading of all things. Reading of all things. So Pinkie went up to Twilight and asked, "Hey, did you get hit with a door earlier?" "Pinkie, I don't have time to go through every detail." Pinkie, you don't have time to go through every detail. "Shush, Spike," Pinkie said into the air, Twilight giving her a confused look. Pinkie, Spike left a while ago," Twilight told her. "Pinkie, why are you making Twilight—" "Spike, shush!" Pinkie said sharply. "Pinkie, maybe you should lie down or something," Twilight said to the light magenta mare, getting up from her seat to stand beside Pinkie. "You see, Spike," Pinkie yelled into the air again irritably. "You're making flashback, Twilight. Question my sanity." "Pinkie, what's gotten into you?" Twilight demanded, flustered. "I really think you should lay down." "Pinkie!" Flashback interrupted. Spike glowered at Pinkie as she looked back at him with her own grumpy face. You're making me question your sanity, and it's not for the first time," Spike told her, her face suddenly blossoming into another smile. I have just the thing to make you feel better, Spike." Pinkie Pie turned her back on him and hunched over, fiddling with something. When Spike leaned forward to try and get a look at what she was doing, she turned again to reveal a baby dragon-sized white fur overcoat and ebony cane with a diamond head. No, sweet. Spike blinked, unsure of what to make of this offering. Did Rarity make this or something? He questioned. Nah, I just found it laying around and it made me think of you, Pinky told him. He blinked and sighed, not about to argue. It is a pretty cool coat, after all, and the cane is nothing but pure swag. So, I've got the gist of it anyway. You, in your Pinkie Pie way, just had an urge to find us and come to White Castle with us. Spike told her as he put on the coat. It fit perfectly, exactly as if it had been tailored to fit his body specifically, and not just any baby dragon. Pinkie Pie, you are really something else that I don't even think Celestia herself can fathom. Spike thought to herself. I'm gonna imagine he went for Spike thought to himself. Pinky tilted her head, confused. White Castle? I thought we were going to IHOP. To the IHOP. How did you figure that? Never mind. It doesn't seem like we're going all the way soon anyway, Spike muttered, turning his back to his drink on the bar, frowning. Pinkie Pie took a seat next to him. Where are AJ and Dashie? She asked. Using a glorified bong to sniff sea salt fumes, he muttered. Pinky suddenly sucked in a over-the-top gasp. The earth pony was rising into the air, defying gravity. Her blue eyes suddenly flashing red as she demanded in a monstrous voice, monstrously altered voice. Where are they? Terrified, Spike answered, downstairs on the 5th floor. But these are 5-story... whatever. Oh, wait, I guess if they're on the roof. Okay, never mind. Like that, Pinky disappeared in a blur, leaving a cloud of pink in her wake. Another song? Okay, I don't recognize this one either. My blood runs cold, my memory has just been sold, my angel is the centerfold, angel is the centerfold. Again, I feel like I've heard that. Gathered around the silver hookah, Spitfire, Applejack, and Rainbow Dash bubbled away on the device, the air warm and moist with the steam of the sea-salted water, music mingling with the fumes of the air. Boy, howdy, Applejack breathed out, a jet of steam from her lungs as she spoke. I like licking sea salt just fine, but I really like this something fierce, too. So darn smooth. I can say you... Oh, it's my bad. You can say that again, Rainbow agreed groggily, laying her head on Spitfire's lap, the other mare contentedly stroking her mane as she propped her back up onto the wall. See? Told you guys it was an instant drama killer, the Wonderbolt murmured. Heh. Yeah. Sorry I ditched you, AJ. I got overexcited, Rainbow apologized. Aw, shucks. I couldn't stay mad at you. It's not a problem. The mood was killed as the door to their room flew off its hinges, slamming into the hookah and shattering it all over the wall. Oh, snap! The 3 mares shouted together. In the doorway, dressed in a black stealth suit, was with a utility belt featuring a multitude of different gadgets was... Pinkie Pie? AJ and Dash uttered together, dumbfounded. Pinky was not amused, though. Drug alert, be above the influence! Then she pointed a rigid hoof at Spitfire. Stranger danger! Pinkie Pie grabbed what appeared to be a grenade from her belt. But when she snapped off the cap instead of the pin, it revealed a cupcake without the cylinder. Pinkie Pie promptly removed the cupcake and threw it at Spitfire, hitting her square on the eye. What the heck? She asked slowly, removing the treat from her eye and blinking away the frosting. Pinky next looked to see Rainbow still in Spitfire's lap, and disgust momentarily filled her features. She got in Rainbow's face and put on a kindly expression of comfort to replace the disgust, saying softly, "Rainbow, there's nothing more cool than being hugged by someone you like." She then pointed accusingly at Spitfire. But if someone touches you in a way or a place that makes you feel uncomfortable," Pinky shook her head, "that's no good." Oh, man. This totally brings me back to all those announcements that they had in our school and all those assemblies, man. She stood on her hind legs, resting her forehoofs on her hips in a heroic pose, carrying on while the three other mares just stared at her like she was insane. "It's your body. No one has the right to touch you if you don't want them to. So what do?" She looked at each of them. No one reacted. Oh my God. "First say no. Then you gotta get out of there. And most important, you gotta tell someone you trust. Like Pinkie Pie." The magenta earth pony spread her arms and faced her head up towards the ceiling. There was a silence after that, and Pinkie lowered her head again to see the others' reactions. "What?" Rainbow finally uttered. Pinkie gave her a deadpan look, then suddenly reached for her belt and threw lassos at Dash and Applejack. She managed to tie each mare by their legs, causing them to cry out. "We're out of here," Pinkie barked with authority, then turned and galloped away, dragging shouting Applejack and Rainbow Dash behind her. "Hey, wait!" Spitfire cried in alarm, stumbling after them. Oh, crap. Spike looked from his seat at the bar to see Pinkie Pie dragging Applejack and Rainbow behind her, the two struggling against their bonds, but to no avail. "Holy," Spike whispered, then hopped off his chair and ran towards Pinkie. "Pinkie," he called. She saw him coming and at her through the crowd. Spike, hop on my back and hold on tight." Not even thinking about it, Spike dove to Pinkie's back and clung to her neck, burying his head in her mane. Her face grim and focused, she ran straight off the edge of the roof, unheeding of AJ's and Rainbow's pleas and shouts of the other ponies around. "Free my mind," Pinkie whispered as she got nearer and nearer to the edge. "Free my mind." She then grinned challengingly. "No problem." She sped her gallop into a sprint, and when she reached the edge, she leaped off with a confident grin. Meanwhile, AJ and Dash screamed behind her as they all fell. The cobblestone ground rapidly approached them, but Pinkie landed on her hooves with an uncanny grace. Spike still clung to her neck. Somehow her stealth suit had been discarded and just disappeared in mid-jump. Then RD and AJ smacked into the ground behind her with painful crunches, sprawled out over the curb of the sidewalk. I feel like that's a reference to something. "Phew, that was close," Pinkie breathed, tossing her head and shaking her mane. Spike looked up shakily from her neck. Holy, was all he was capable of. "Rainbow Dash!" a muffled voice cried from above. The four of them looked up from where they were to see Spitfire with her face pressed up against the window, eyes wide and fearful. "Spitfire?" Dash muttered. "Stranger danger!" Pinkie yelled again and took off into a gallop again, dragging the other two once again. Wait. Yeah, again appears 3 times in that sentence. "Oh, no! Rainbow Dash, come back! I love you!" Spitfire screamed dramatically. "Spitfire!" Rainbow called back tearfully. Spitfire spread her wings, though they were limper than a water-soaked leaf on a branch. When she crashed through the window and attempted to fly, Her limp wings did absolutely nothing, and she fell straight to the ground. She splattered onto the street, face first, flat as a pancake. "No!" Rainbow wailed as Pinky whisked them away, leaving Spitfire unconscious in the street as the party and the party thoroughly crashed. Well, that sucks. And that's the end of the chapter. Wow. Yeah, that sucks quite a bit. Oh, wow, this recording was a lot longer than I thought it was. Alright. Well, thank you all for watching.